What's up guys, I'm Caden with Crypto Now or Never and welcome back to another Hoppy update. If you enjoy this content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. None of this is financial advice. Let's get into it.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want.
Alright, so as I'm sure pretty much everyone saw yesterday, 20 hours ago, President Trump authorizes a 90-day pause on tariffs. Right after that happened, we saw a massive explosion. Over 3.5 trillion was added to the US stock market following the 90-day pause. And we saw Bitcoin fly up to like 83K. If you look at the S&P, we're already starting to get that V-shaped recovery. In general, though, there has been a lot of news recently. One of the bullish things right here was 14 hours ago. Pro-Bitcoin Paul Atkins officially confirmed as new SEC chair. So in general, the United States continues to get more and more crypto-friendly. But then as we scroll up, 1 hour ago, US inflation falls to 2.4%, lower than expectations. Now, inflation data is always very interesting because oftentimes it does create a sell-off. But in general, inflation falling is a good thing. And the reason it's good is because it could lead to rate cuts and it also could eventually lead to quantitative easing, or at least the ending of quantitative tightening. As a lot of you guys know, we have been in quantitative tightening for years now. And at the last meeting, the Fed slowed down QT. So if they actually end it at the next meeting, that could be very bullish for the crypto market. But in general, when I'm looking at Bitcoin right now, I'm actually watching the 1 hour time frame. And I don't usually like to show you guys smaller time frames just because a lot can change. But as you guys can see right now on the 1 hour time frame, we are basically in a giant bull flag. And if you look at the stochastics, we are extremely oversold again. What I am looking for right now is to see if price action can reclaim the 200-day and the 21-day. If we can get back above these moving averages, then we absolutely could see a very nice breakout. My issue right now is actually the 4 hour time frame. When you look at the 4 hour time frame, we are still very overbought on the stochastics. So that leads me to believe that if we are going to break out, it's probably going to be within the next 3 or 4 hours. If we don't see a breakout during that time, then I wouldn't be shocked at all if price action continues to flag out on the 4 hour. And we could see a situation where we come down and we touch the 21-day moving average, or we bounce off of this previous high. Either way, that could be a classic support and resistance flip, which would also be bullish. In general, Bitcoin looks a lot better right now than it did previously. If you look at the daily time frame, this was a very strong close. The candle had a low of 74,500 and it had a high of 83,500, and it still closed at 82,500. But similar to a lot of the other time frames, we still have very important levels to get back above. You can see that even after the pump, we are still beneath the 21-day, we're beneath the 50-day, we're beneath the 200-day, we're beneath every single moving average. In order for this breakout to be legit, we have to reclaim these levels. Again, when you look at the S&P, this is a great start. And if you guys have been watching my content, I've been showing you guys the S&P recently because it's been extremely oversold. I was telling you guys that we had not been this oversold since COVID and since 2008. And because of that, I said there was probably a very good chance that we were going to get a bounce. So whether or not this is the full-on relief rally, only time will tell. But if you go ahead and take a look at Hoppy right now, you can see that Hoppy's actually at a $9.24 million market cap. And what I like to see with Hoppy right now is that it is still holding a higher low. So if you look at the Bitcoin chart again, you can see that Bitcoin actually put in a lower low from March 10th. But if you look at Hoppy, you can see that that March 10th range was Hoppy's low. So the fact that Hoppy has not put in lower lows is a great start. Now, am I saying that Hoppy is ever going to break all-time highs again? No, I'm not. I have no idea if that will happen. We have a very long ways to go. If you zoom out, you can clearly see that Hoppy has gotten hammered. But again, in the short term, we don't look that bad. We are putting in a higher low currently. If we can see price action come up and put in a higher local high, then that could confirm a breakout. But more importantly, we need to see Bitcoin continue to pump. If we see Bitcoin break down and give back all of the gains as we have seen many times over the last few months, then Hoppy is also probably going to drop. Bitcoin has to confirm a breakout. When you look at the Hoppy X account right now, not a whole lot has changed, but I still really like to see what they're doing. They're still posting on here every day, and their community is still very engaging, which is awesome to see. I say this all the time, but I say it because it's true. Every project out there looks fantastic when the market is pumping. How many projects out there do you see continuing to grind when the market is dumping? That's a lot harder to do. So keep your eyes on any of these projects that have continued to have a very strong community and have continued to show leadership. And that's one of the biggest reasons I've stayed engaged with Hoppy. They easily have one of the strongest low cap project communities out there. And I'm sitting here talking about Bitcoin, but in order for Hoppy to break out, we also need to see Ethereum break out. Now, it is nice to see that Ethereum did actually get a very strong bounce yesterday. There for a while, it was completely outperforming Bitcoin. But if you just zoom out and you look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, it looks like a falling knife. So regardless of what it did in the short term, we need to see a macro breakout for Ethereum. And if we see Ethereum breakout, it'll probably also lead to a Pepe breakout. And Hoppy is a Pepe derivative, so a Pepe breakout would be very bullish for Hoppy, at least in theory. All of that being said though, if you guys are interested in joining a like-minded community and getting into projects super early like Hoppy, then I also recommend taking a look at my Discord. As a lot of you guys know, we got into Hoppy extremely early. I first posted a buy alert at a $580,000 market cap. Just to put this in perspective, a $1,000 investment could have turned into over $250,000. So if this is the kind of community that you wish to be a part of, you'll find the link right here on my YouTube homepage. I'd love to see you guys in here. That's about all. Let me know down in the comments how high do you guys think Hoppy will go this bull run. If you found this content valuable, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.